Good morning. This is Tim Stokely, and I'm sitting here with Mr. Harvey Livingston. And Mr. Harvey is a very famous person in Brownsville, Tennessee, and I've always looked up to him for my entire life. And Mr. Harvey is going to kind of tell me some of his history and how he's been such a successful person as he's been. So what about it, Mr. Harvey?
That term you use in being so successful is kind of surprising to me. I appreciate it very much, and my only answer is that you just worked hard and did what you had to do. Started off really young as in fact, when I graduated high school, I had one child. So everybody in school called me Pop. But anyway, I started immediately working and worked for the Haywood Farmers Co-op.
After you graduated high school?
Well, I started for the co-op when I was 14 years old, when I was in high school, working on Saturday. And I knew I would get my first job at the co-op. I went to work at 7 o'clock on Saturday morning. And the co-op at that time, had bought the old Rothschild business, which is downtown Brownsville, which was a farm supply business, grocery, so forth. And at that time, grocery stores stayed open late on Saturday night. And I remember going to work Saturday morning on co-op, and they immediately took me to the railroad track. Had a carload of 488 fertilizer there, 25 tons or 30 tons. They told me, said, we will send people here with a order, and you load it on however much we're supposed to get, whether it's 20 sacks, 10 sacks, or 50 sacks. That's what I did all day Saturday. When dark came, the box car was empty. I loaded every sack of it by myself. 100-pound sacks of 488 fertilizer.
Good gracious. What year was
Didn't
that?
think anything about it much. 1946, maybe 40, 47, long in there. And then went to the store uptown and washed my hands and cut bologna and cooked cheese and so forth for the folks who wanted to eat supper on Saturday night in the grocery store. Got off at 11:30, 12 o'clock. Got paid $4. Had more money than anybody, any kid in high school. Rich as heck. But anyway, that's how I started, and then continued after I got out of high school full time, and with the co-op. And became manager of the co-op, Haywood Farmers Co-op at, I believe I was 18 or 19 years old, which I realized I was too young, so I, myself, really got somebody else to be the manager, which was Charles Reed, Jr. At that time was working for Emory Wellington, the seed cleaner. And we worked together for several years. And so forth, and I eventually left the co-op in anticipation of going to work for Michigan, Wisconsin Pumping Line, which has built a station over near Danksville. It's kind of a long drive, but in between my resigning the co-op position and going to work for Michigan, Wisconsin, the federal government stopped all construction for 12 months. That kind of left me out in the open with nothing. Had a few dollars saved up, but anyway, after 5 months of no job, I went to work for Sears Roebuck and Company.
In Brownsville?
I started off at in Carnes, Mississippi. Then came into Brownsville as a catalog sales manager downtown. Was transferred from there after 6 months to Amory, Mississippi. Had 2 kids in school, one in the 1st grade, one in the 2nd grade. halfway through that year, they came in and said they're gonna transfer me back to Jackson. And I said, no, I'm going back to Brown. So that's what I did. Started in the furniture business with my father-in-law.
Not with Sears.
That was not with Sears, and that's where evolved into me where I am right now in the furniture, home furnishing, accessories, whatever business.
Mm-hmm.
That was in 1957, 8. Long in there, 59.
What was the name of the store?
City Furniture Company down on Jefferson Street. Then I left City Furniture Company, went into business myself, rented the building that was formerly Emil Tam and Sons right in front of the courthouse. Started Livingston's, 1966, and was there until I purchased the post office building where I am now, 1978.
So you moved into this building 1978.
That's right.
That was the year before I was born.
It was a former United States Postal Service post office, built 1936. Heck of a good building. World War II was the only air raid shelter in Brownsville. Only designated air raid shelter.
Mm-hmm.
It's solid concrete and steel. Only wood in it, doors and window casing.
In this building?
In this building.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Hmm.
It'll never fall down. It may be blown up, but it never will fall down.
That's interesting.
So anyway, that's the background of where I am now.
So how do you think, or how have you been so successful in this business for this many years?
Well, I really don't have an answer for that except you have to make a living, you have to pay your debts, so you just work. You keep on doing, you know what it is, and things have changed a lot. People used to buy merchandise or whatever they needed or whatever they wanted, and they paid for it. And they worked and paid, and that's the way it worked. And I borrowed money in the bank and paid the money back when I made enough money to pay them back, which I managed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I don't have any long story about success. It just, you don't have time to think about it, you just work.
You've done the right thing and worked hard.
Get the job done.
Yes, sir.
If it didn't work right one time, try it different next time.
One thing I would like to add too, Mr. Harvey was awarded Man of the Year for Brownsville, Haywood County for 2012, so that probably explains a lot of his success as well too.
I still don't understand why that was, but nevertheless, it did.
So you started or the name Livingston's store in 1966.
Right.
And so that was Miss Minnie, your wife's parents that had the store before that?
Yeah, her father had a City Furniture Company.
Okay.
That I worked for, and I left Sears Millbrook and down on Jefferson Street, and then after a few years, rented that building. And when the town decided they were going out of business, I had made an effort to do several things other than that. I wasn't particularly jumping up and down about being in the furniture business, but that door opened.
Yes, sir.
And it seemed to operate, so I rented that building from the Tam family and did some renovation in there. And started off doing a little bit different from anybody else in town. Different merchandise and presenting it a little differently. Consequently, it took off and it was good. And at that time, too, I had handling appliances and, TVs and records. I remember the first Christmas in business, I sold 17 console record players, which were fantastic. walnut cabinets, beautiful pieces of furniture. That was unheard of in Brownville, Tennessee. But everybody liked them.
What about
Anyway.
your fine china? Have you been selling it?
Okay.
For,
No, that began when I bought this building in 1978.
78.
My wife had been after me a little bit for, she wanted to put in a little Harvey gift shop. And the building I had just didn't, well, it just couldn't be set up where it would be nice. You know, would work on anything. So the building that I was in started falling down. Back in fell out of it, and I was contemplating just getting out of business. I was sick of it. I was walking down the street to the bank, to your bank one morning, and there's a sign in this office out in the yard of this building that says, accept sealed bids for the property. So I came out of the bank, I walked in, and I told her to give me a bid form on to buy this place. So, that's kind of a bad statement I get, but nevertheless, I did do some really hard research on it, and I submitted a bid that I thought was fair and that the government would accept, and they did.
how much was it?
I think it was $48,500
For this building right here?
for this, yeah, this piece of property. I had many people to ask me about it, and all that stuff. And I didn't tell them, it made my daddy mad because I wouldn't tell them people what I think. I knew if I even mentioned it, then I'd get overbid. In fact, then the next guy to me was a bank president, was your bank, another bank business. And I had to get a check to make the damn thing. And I had a clerk up there that I knew wouldn't talk. And the guy was, if he had known so he was really funny. So I learned, I told everybody, I said, you see, you learn something, to keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, after I purchased the building, I looked at it and had to do some renovation, took all that wall out of it, and I put up those two posts right there. And did that little section, you see a little, how I dressed it up?
Yes, sir.
And I told my wife, who had wanted a little gift shop, I said, okay now, honey, I got you $10,000 on space. That's it right there. The $10,000 in space lasts 30 days. It ballooned. Within
For the
12
China.
months, yeah. Well, I didn't think about China. We had one line, which was called Fitz in Florida, which was very modern. To me, anything China-wise it ever been, it was great looking, so that's the one we got. But within a year, the two major jewelry stores had all the major China lines quit. Want to get out of business. So here comes all of them to me. Lennox and McCoss and all. Wanted us to take all the lines, and at that time, every line you picked up required $10,000 put into it. So man, I was in sheep.
Kind of for the
But
writings.
nevertheless, you know, like I said, the $10,000 I put in the first day lasted 30 days, and it turned over in 30 days. I said, whoa, it's better than furniture.
What would that cost today?
Gosh, I have no idea. It's changed so much. But anyway, of course, back in those days, that was pretty stiff. Man, shoot, I said, wait a minute now, I got to come up with some big doubt. Of course, I had folks that went along with me, you know, with a little money. But I paid them, I didn't write them. But then came 1980, my bank interest rate went to $50,000. Excuse me, to 18%. When I borrowed money to buy this building, the bank said, don't you want to set this up on so many years and so on? I said, no, I pay what I think you. Well, for a couple of years, I couldn't been able to pay interest on a note I had. But it started ballooning pretty quick. Well, that happened it wouldn't give me in trouble until it started. Now, I couldn't finance furniture, it wouldn't need to finance it.
Yes, sir.
You know, I probably had $150,000 to $200,000 of recourse paper in the Brownsville Bank on furniture financing. Probably had $150,000 in the First Aid Bank. Recourse paper. I thought, my gosh, and the interest rate went to going. I said, overnight, in less than 30 days, I could be the brokerage over in Haywood County. If they demanded,
yes,
call it out.
Yeah.
Took me 12 months to eliminate that. Well, it's about $250,000, I guess, better.
12 months.
I eliminated every penny of it. I did not lose a dang penny. I didn't sleep at night. But I got out of that business. I shut that down, partner. From then on, somebody borrowed some money from me. I did it. It was mine. So I got out of that kind of business.
Yes, sir.
But I really did. 1987, I had a little problem with my ticker, and I had to have some bypass surgery. Somebody said, "Did you have high cholesterol?" I said, "No, but I had some awful high interest in 1980 and 82.
Your ticker.
Man, yeah. So, you know, that's kind of the story. It's been kind of gliding along ever since.
Yes, sir.
Once I got out of that trap, though, like a mouse, I said, I don't want no cheese to live out of the trap.
Huh.
So every once in a while I look at that portfolio I got in all those daggum accounts I had, those recourse accounts.
Yes, sir.
Man, me and Jerry Jones and John Clinton stayed with one another pretty dang close. See, instead of me doing, which is, I think was a good move, I wanted to know exactly what my cousin was doing instead of them making the payments at the bank, like they had a booklet payment. I said, I want the booklet. I'm gonna do that. So I knew it was behind before they ever got behind.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I waited 30 days and he called me and said, "Hey, come in, you gotta come for $500 that this guy's behind."
Yes, sir.
So I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the way it worked, and it worked fine, and we all came out of it even.
So you definitely had some pitfalls.
Oh yeah, well,
through
man,
your career.
Shoot, what are you talking about?
Certainly.
You talking about it, man? It was eating, you know what, and chasing rabbits. God knows, it
Yes,
was
sir.
rough. But you know, I wasn't out there by myself. Everybody else was in trouble too. But I watched them like a hawk. I hung with them and didn't. Of course, that, like I say, 30 days, it could have broke me flat as blood.
Yes, sir. Well, we're
Worse than broke, I could have been in death the rest of my life.
and other likewise. Well, Mr. Harvey, I guess we could talk for hours and hours and days and days. Obviously, you have a fantastic store here in Brownsville, Tennessee, and now that we get a small synopsis of your history, and we understand now that you are definitely a success story and definitely somebody to look up to. So I wish we did have hours and hours to talk and video footage, but I appreciate you sitting down with me. And
it was nice.
Anybody that views this video in the future, maybe they'll come see you here.
I hope they do, by George.
On South Washington Street in Brownsville, Tennessee.
That's right.
We appreciate it, Mr.
We'll
Harvey.
be right here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.